front, true believers. It's Chris back with another episode of Comic Tropes, and with the new Spider-Man movie about to open, I thought, you know what? It's time to take a look back at the first live-action Spider-Man. Now, a casual fan would probably be able to tell you that, hey, before there was Andrew Garfield, let alone Tom Holland, there was Tobey Maguire. And a real fan of Spider-Man could tell you, no, before any of that, there was the 1977 CBS TV show that lasted a season. And an Uber fan could point out, actually, there was a Japanese collaboration with Marvel Comics before even that. And by the way, that show with a live-action Spider-Man had a gigantic robot, and even though that show didn't do too well, it went on to inspire Super Sentai, which is known over here as Power Rangers. The same company that made the Spider-Man show made that. But I'm going to tell you that there was a live-action Spider-Man before even that. In 1974, he debuted on PBS on the show The Electric Company. It's something I actually grew up with. I'm an old. So this Spider-Man was actually silent, and this show was created as sort of an educational program that would help you with reading, and Spider-Man would think thoughts in word balloons that you could read. He would think in terms of signs and things like that, and have silent little skits. It was honestly a lot of fun. I adored this version of Spider-Man. And it was called Spidey Super Stories. That was the name of the segment. So Marvel said, hey, we're already lending this character to the Children's Television Workshop for PBS. Why don't we also create a comic book in the same vein? A comic book that would help kids read. That was called Spidey Super Stories, but let me tell you something. What works on TV as an educational resource, when translated back to comic books, comes across as everybody is brain damaged and every superhero and supervillain is nerfed. They're just not threatening, they're not dangerous, it's just bizarre. You know what? I think I just heard, yep, Spider-Man himself is out there. Hey Spidey, instead of me doing this intro, why don't you tell the beautiful viewers out there in TV land what we're gonna read today?
Thanks, Chris. You know, I've always been a pretty big proponent of women's rights. I go to all the marches. More power to them. Which reminds me, I'm pretty powerful myself. There isn't a whole lot that can stop me. One thing is a mad god with an object that grants us any wish, and the other is an elderly man throwing soda at me. Let's ignore that last one and talk about the first. Back to you, Chris.
Thanks, Spidey! Without any further ado, let's read issue number 39. Our story begins at a vague but still progressive parade for women's rights. No idea what specifically these women are marching for, but they're in favor of rights, and that's good. Peter Parker is there taking photos, and his coworker says, "A great scene for the magazine." Well, points for it rhyming, but Peter Parker actually works at a newspaper. The Daily Bugle, where J. Jonah Jameson yells at him all day. It's not a magazine. At the parade is a street vendor selling sodas. He's in a not at all suspicious pair of sunglasses and top hat, and he says to some ladies passing by that he's got sodas in strawberry, cherry, and mint. Mint? That sounds disgusting. Carbonated mouthwash. I'll pass. Peter's blonde coworker talks to one of the women, apparently one of the organizers of the march, and says, "Hello, Stella Bella. What do you think of the parade?" Stella Bella can't be bothered to look her interviewer in the eye and just says, "It's the start of a new age." And then all the ladies shout, "Women's rights!" The suspicious gentleman with the weird mustache thinks, "This soda should quiet them down." Yup, the villain of this story is the original men's rights activist. At home, Peter Parker's girlfriend MJ is watching the parade on TV, and she thinks to herself, I hope Peter is watching this. He might learn something about women. Ooh, bird. And this unscrupulous vendor continues to sell his sodas. This is one of the few supervillains I can think of that's actually making a profit with his supervillainous schemes. Everyone who drank the sodas seems to be getting tired, which coincidentally seems to be absolutely everyone. Confusingly, they're also dreaming about the march that they were just in. It's not the most exciting dream to have, is it? Dreaming about the actual thing that you were just doing. Peter notices everybody falling asleep, including the cop on the horse, and sees a pickpocket stroll by, and he changes into Spider-Man. Spider-Man webs up the thief, and then looks at the soda vendor thinking, that soda man looks familiar. So that disguise didn't work very well. Meanwhile, Peter Parker's co-worker was actually Miss Marvel. Somewhere out there, an employer hired both Spider-Man and Miss Marvel. I want to meet their recruiter. This guy obviously sees greatness in people and can identify somebody that's amazing. Spider-Man uses his webs to pull the disguise off of Mastermind, that's his real name, and Mastermind throws a soda onto Spidey to throw him down. Spidey thinks to himself, I can't drink this soda or I'll fall asleep too. Not only that, but it would actually be really disgusting if you started drinking the soda out of your costume and off of the ground. It's probably best that you didn't drink that, Spider-Man. Then Mastermind pushes his soda cart into Miss Marvel and steals somebody's car, with them saying, after that, Master Thief. The most powerful female superhero is stopped by a soda cart, and somebody thinks that a guy hopping into their car makes him a master thief. It's almost too much too fast. Spider-Man and Miss Marvel chase Mastermind onto the Brooklyn Bridge, and by the way, it looks like that parade must have shut down all of Manhattan because there's not too many people on this bridge. Mastermind tosses a soda at Miss Marvel. Take a look at that aim. While driving, he's able to hit Miss Marvel in the air with soda. I think Mastermind could give Bullseye or Hawkeye a run for their money. MJ sees the parade people falling asleep and thinks to herself that she's going to go out there and help. I really don't know what she plans to do to help. Spider-Man webs up the car that Mastermind is in, but he jumps out of it into a trap door on the bridge. However, Spider-Man thinks to himself, he has a secret cave under the bridge. I'm not quite sure that this book is teaching kids what a cave actually is. A pair of farmers in an army jeep come barreling by and point at Spider-Man, only for a gusher of soda to literally launch their car into the air, tossing them out, and Spider-Man has to catch them with his web. I'll ignore it defying the laws of physics, but shouldn't these people at least be a little bit scared of what's going on? Instead, the kid thinks it's a ride. Okay. And their car smashes on top of the one Mastermind stole, so Spider-Man's causing quite a bit of property damage. Meanwhile, beneath the bridge, Miss Marvel flies underneath and thinks, it's raining on my parade. Okay, so Miss Marvel is right when she notes that there was a parade, but it's not raining on her. There's not even a spray of soda. I'm gonna have to issue a judgment. I'm afraid this pun does not work. Miss Marvel finds a secret lair underneath, and there's actually both a bat and a rat nearby, so we know that it's evil. She bursts in, sees some generic soda, and then is sprayed by Mastermind. Everyone else we've seen come into contact with this soda falls asleep right away. For instance, those farmers in the Jeep. Spider-Man and Miss Marvel have both been doused with this soda, but they're not falling asleep. You know what? I think that this kid's story might not make 100% sense. The combined powers of Spider-Man and Miss Marvel are eventually able to overcome a doddering old man, and they demand that he give them the cure to the sleeping. When he refuses, violence is the answer as Miss Marvel punches him in the face. Spider-Man threatens to drown Mastermind, which gets him to give up the cure. And the cure is that the sleep soda only lasts 1 hour. Miss Marvel points out everyone should be awake by now. The cure was everybody's already awake. Well done, superheroes. Well done. MJ walks up to the parade and shouts at everyone to get up and march. Stella Bella releases a hilarious joke. March? I thought it was June. And the ladies go back to chanting women's rights. Peter spots MJ in the crowd and she shouts, Peter, join us. And then it ends. Very abrupt. Hope you learned a few new words along the way. Anyway, the way this comic was set up, there would always be 2 to 3 stories. We're going to skip the next one, in which Impossible Man literally teabags Spider-Man. But it turns out he really came to Earth to learn how people play games so that he could take that knowledge back to his people. Okay. Also, there's a small cameo by Easy Reader. On the Electric Company show, Morgan Freeman actually portrayed Easy Reader, a guy who just liked reading. He thought it was cool. His wardrobe was questionable. Anyway, moving on, we have our final story, and it involves Thanos, one of the most dangerous supervillains in all of Marvel Comics. He's constantly portrayed as one of the absolute most dangerous threats that all of the superheroes combined can face. It's just unfathomable how dangerous he is. He's essentially a god, and he constantly seeks out objects of incredible power. This is what the Marvel movies have all been building up to. Over 20 movies have been building up to all of them teaming up to fight Thanos. So you can imagine this is a pretty powerful guy. So how does he appear in this comic? Piloting a helicopter with his own name across the rotor, fighting the Cat. And if you're not familiar with who the Cat is, she's also known as Hellcat. Obviously, they're taming it down for this comic book. That's fine. You may know her if you've watched the Jessica Jones show. Patsy Walker in the comics becomes Hellcat. Not really super powered per se. She's more just sort of agile, a little bit strong. And so, yeah, she's just sort of vaguely cat-like. She fights crime. She's all right. As the story begins, the Cat actually has control of the Cosmic Cube, which basically is an object of incredible power that can grant wishes of anyone holding it. They can manipulate reality. So obviously Thanos would want this. He'd risk taking his super spiffy helicopter out to get it. The Cat drops the Cosmic Cube, saying, "Oops, I dropped the Cosmic Cube. No use crying over spilled milk." Thanos is similarly only mildly upset over this turn of events, saying, "Drat." Thanos then flies off to get the Cosmic Cube another time. This is an object of unimaginable power. I would think that they would both rush to the ground as fast as possible, no matter what, because you could basically undo any damage you're causing getting down there. Instead, a cool skateboarding teenager bumps right into the Cat. Kind of lucky guy. And after they go their separate ways, he realizes that the Cosmic Cube was under his hat, which fell off when they collided. "This must be the Cosmic Cube. The Cat said it can do anything. I'll try it and see. I wish I had an ice cream cone." Pop! That's one ambitious kid. Over in, let's say Central Park, Peter Parker and MJ are walking along, and Peter is really ignoring her, just reading the newspaper. MJ states, apropos of nothing, "I think the Cat is neat." Peter gets instantly very jealous and says, "I think she's a copycat of Spider-Man." MJ delivers this delightful burn. "Can the corn, Peter. Women can be super too." MJ says, "The Cat is just as good as Spider-Man." And Peter instantly gives up and says, "You're right, Mary Jane." Peter's one macho guy with confident opinions. For some reason, that teenager with the Cosmic Cube and Thanos have both shown up in the park, and Thanos is bullying this little child. He says, "Gimme that, you brat," and grabs the Cosmic Cube. And apparently, Mary Jane knows who he is. She says, "Pick on someone your own size, Thanos." Note to self, if an angry god picks up a device of infinite power, do not yell at him. The Cat jumps in, but she doesn't really do much of anything. Peter bravely runs away to change into Spider-Man, and Thanos uses his amazing power to bring a big dog into existence. The dog chases the Cat right up a tree, but Spider-Man shows up with his patented move, hitting somebody with his butt. With the two superheroes ready to fight Thanos, he decides to use the Cosmic Cube to create an earthquake. It does knock over Spider-Man and the Cat, but it also results in Thanos instantly losing his balance and dropping the cube. "Oops, I let go of the cube." "You were too tricky for your own good, Thanos." I had been thinking that the helicopter with his own name on it was probably Thanos' low point, but using the cosmic cube to cause an earthquake and then instantly dropping the cosmic cube, that might be a new low. All three super beings desperately lunge for the cosmic cube, but the little kid gets there first, picks it up, and tells Thanos, "You're all wrapped up." And a little note says, "Jim makes the grass tie up Thanos." I can't imagine any supervillain weak enough to actually get trapped by a bunch of grass. I think even the Trapster would be like, yeah, this is grass. This isn't that big a deal. I carry glue. Glue is a little better than grass. And with that, the police arrest Thanos. Wow. It's not every day you see a cosmic god taken into custody by the local constabulary. That's something. Then the unambitious kid just tosses the cosmic cube back to the cat, so I guess she has infinite power forever. And with that, the superheroes go their separate ways, and Spider-Man says, "So long, cat, you're a real swinger." I don't think that means what he thinks it means. Peter walks back and MJ asks where he was. Peter comes up with the brilliant excuse, "Oh, I went to call the, police, MJ." And missed all the action, as usual. This story wouldn't have worked as well in the day and age of cell phones, would it? "Oh, I went to pee behind those bushes, MJ." Well, every story in Spidey Super Stories was completely bonkers. I appreciate the goal they had to try to reach out to younger readers and put a lot of their superheroes and supervillains in front of kids for the first time. I don't think the end result was quite what they were going for. I think that when I was young, I wanted to read regular comic books. I didn't want to read one that was, designed for kids. I wanted to read the real thing. That was me. But they're not bad. In fact, as an adult, they might be even more enjoyable because of just how crazy they are. All of the supervillains are just so tamed down. The ones with Dr. Doom are some of my personal favorites because he's just a cranky whiner. And I love that. That's so much better than an angry dictator. I just love these books. By the way, a lot of these stories were written by a guy named Tom Whedon, and that's Joss Whedon's father, the guy that went on to direct stuff like Avengers 1 and 2. I think that's a neat little bit of trivia. I need to give a sincere thank you to Godzilla Mendoza. If you're not aware, he has his own YouTube channel. Godzilla Mendoza does a lot of comic book analysis, but specifically, he knows as much about Spider-Man as anyone out there. He reviews almost every Spider-Man video game out there. He's got a number of amazing analyses about that. He also has obviously created his own Spider-Man costume. He's actually created, I think, 5 of them, and he's got several videos detailing how to make your own Spider-Man costume. I think those videos are incredibly entertaining. So I sincerely appreciate you appearing on my program, Godzilla. You are welcome here anytime. I owe you one. Thank you all for watching this, and don't worry, there's a lot of big summer stuff coming up, some huge, huge things. I wasn't going to say it, but you know what? August will be the 100th anniversary of the birth of Jack the King Kirby. I'm going to have to do something for that. I'm going to have to do something. I'm still thinking about it. All right, I'm sort of rambling because I've been drinking. Until next week, keep reading comics.